Welcome, 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 trivalent beings of spirit, mind, and body. Time for the Ask Doc Alkebulanese Solution Show, sponsored by Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation, also known as Proof. Its mission is to spread the trivalent understanding noetics, featuring stand-up philosophy that includes anthropology, psychology, biology, metaphysics, medicine, psychodrama, comedy, and music through a genre called edutainment, educating while entertaining, coined by KRS-One. The host of this wonderful show is Dr. Kwaku L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, MED-D1, and myself, co-host, Dr. Hamida Rockman Woods, MED, PhD, MED-D2. Aquaba. I have the PH.
I have the M.
We both have D's that makes
us Doc Squared.
The title of the day's show is Your Ego and
You. And that U is capital Y period, capital O period, capital U period. That stands for your own understanding. We're going to give you a whole bunch of that today. But first, I want to show off my Ohio t-shirts. Everybody in the organization has Chatted Ohio shirts that show off where we be.
And since we're talking about Ohio, voting in Cleveland, Ohio is May 5th. We do have early voting, so check it out.
Yes, you can go down there and, believe it or not, right now and vote. Okay, first on the agenda, Hip Hope Trio. Now, believe it or not, look at that. Hip Hop Trio Plus. Believe it or not, we just got a gig out in Columbus with Soul Journey. If the Lord says the same and the ancestors agree, we have been told we're going to get paid $500 per person. We'll see. Yeah. And they said it's supposed to be about 15 or 25 folks. So,
I think she said for every person we invite, we get $500.
I don't care. As long as we get, yeah. Mm-hmm. What she said was $500 per person. How that person gets there, I'm not aware. But that's what we're supposed to be getting. Is it a month after next?
It's October.
It's October. Okay, we got plenty of time. Okay. Now, your ego and your own understanding. Yeah. According to Sigmund Freud, who I first heard about when I was days to weeks old.
Imagine that.
Uh-huh.
First, let's get the definition to ego. Your ego and you.
Hold on. I'm about to do that.
I apologize. We haven't even got to our flyer yet.
There's our class. Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation. We got our first student Sunday. Bob came down to the house, knocking on the door at 2 o'clock, thinking that was the time. It's next Sunday, we had to tell him, but he's already paid. So yeah, he was very stimulated to go to the first course, the first class. We will be letting everybody else in next week, next Sunday, 2 to 4. Okay? All right. Now, ego and understanding. Again, according to Siggy Freud, who I first heard about when I was days to weeks old, I said, ask my mama.
The one before that, it should have the definition to ego.
No,
Leave that.
There it is.
Okay. Is that the order you wanted it in?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But hold on. I wanted to explain before we got to that. My mother was in her last year of nursing, and she was, when she had me, doing her last year and reading Fundamentals of Nurses, First and Wolf, Psychology in Today's Health and Anatomy and Physiology. Those were the main books that she was studying from. And every time she breastfed me, she read me from these books and traced her pen along the line to let me know where she was coming from, and illustrated descriptions of anything I needed to try to understand. This is from birth until I was about 2 or 3. My brother Kerry, we're the only 2 members of my family that are born a year apart. I was born March 29th. He was born on my mother's birthday the next year, July 5th. So she taught me anatomy and physiology, psychology, and nursing fundamentals and techniques when I was a child. I thought that's what life was. You get fed physically and psychologically. But now we can go to the ego definition.
You want to go to Freud first before you go to ego?
Yes, go to Freud.
So let's go to Sigmund Freud first.
Siggy Freud founded psychoanalysis and published many influential works. I read almost all of them. I can't think of one that I haven't read, about personality and sexuality. And Freud linked those things together. He figured that almost all of the psychoanalytical disturbances was a reflection of somebody's sexual desire being thwarted or something or another. He was all into that. But he, according to him, says the ego is the rational common component of personality that mitigates between the primal desires of being, that's hunger, thirst, warmth, sex, comfort, safety, the moral constraints of the superego, that's trying to tell you what to do and what not to do, and the limitations of the external reality. It's operating on the reality principle. Operating on the reality principle, it has the decision-making executive power, delaying gratification to find acceptable ways to satisfy the desires. Now, it's a long way of saying your ego decides how and when to act in response to the images from your spirit and the corrective thoughts from your mind. In Nana Kramana Kwa David Whitaker's Ashe Cultural Center,
Imagine that.
We reviewed the construction of our mind superego described by Sigmund Freud. Qua went from fertilized ovum till death and stated we are growing and understanding and learning. As a child, you are constantly given directions, advice, or warnings about life in general and your life individually. As you grow in age, this is added to by peers, family, and educators who outline what you should do and what you should avoid doing. Sometimes this advice is so dire as to restrict and limit the growth and development of factions necessary for successful living and accomplishment of necessary responsibilities. That is when these superego advices become the grapes of wrath. As described in a song by Mississippi Charles Bevel, Sippy called this song Not a Season because, as far as we know, human beings are the only beings in this reality with no mating season. We mate day, night, spring, summer, fall, winter. In the meantime, in between time, we mate and produce children we love and try to educate. Look at Sippy. Sippy just, he's something else, y'all.
He is.
He is. He came to Cleveland and heard us singing his song. He said, okay, I'm going to give you permission to use that song, and you can call it Grapes of Wrath and make any changes that you want to in the arrangement of the song. Sippy's something else, y'all. Okay. Now, it's very hard to teach what you were never given. And so our parents, elders, siblings, and friends often give us superego fuel that does not support, engage, direct, or assist us in accomplishing the purpose of our lives and living. These superego chains are like lead weights that weigh our lives and our living down. They are purposed to do just that and have destroyed people after people as pink people spread lies, disease, and fear. More about that a little later on. But right now, we term these advices, boy, you better get, girl, don't you never let under. All of those things are given to us as children. And these things are what we call the grapes of wrath. John Steinbeck did a novel back in 1920s, 30s, and it was called The Grapes of Wrath, and it talked about the Okies from Oklahoma trying to get to California. But specifically, he remarked they were in, if I'm not mistaken, Utah, and was standing around a federal grain silo where they had all of this food, and they refused to give it to the Okies who were starving. He said that if a people are thwarted and stopped from performing their responsibilities and duties as human beings, they produce a malevolent force. And that force, that malevolent, disabling force, was called the grapes of wrath. Listen to the Hip Hop Trio Plus perform. Mississippi Charles Bevel, Not a Season. Hip Hop Trio Plus, Grapes of Wrath.
Babies coming to this world, not a season. Even if we don't, they know the reasons. And the one who sends them, gives them gifts to care. Tells them, children, take your time, but do not tarry. You will all arrive but naked, equally endowed to make it. You should have everything you need when you get there. But you should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. You should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. Gods and babies, they don't know how we are divided. If they did to send them, never would have been decided. Red and brown, black and white, how we mock them. Rich and poor, high or low, is how we stop them. Why do we make those distinctions when we don't have an inkling of what each child will bring, how they'll share? We just take their gifts and crush like we don't care. Then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. Yes, we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. They should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. They should never have to weed the grapes of wrath. So we all get in line for a young one. Some will grab 10 or 12, some will get none. And the children chose by rich ones will be pampered, while the children left to poor ones will be hampered. Why do we act like such heathens when every known religion teaches us each and every child is in our care? But we just take their gifts and crush them like we don't care. Then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath.
Yes, we send them out to harvest.
Yes, we send them out to harvest.
Yes, we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. Whoa, whoa,
Wow. That is how many of our children come into this world and grow. Your ego's job is to eliminate these grapes so that your purpose is accomplished. Qua David gave us a chart that describes an individual's birth, growth, aging, and the specific matrices that the individual draw their superego content from. Now, if you look right up on the screen, 7 life crisis stages, they're called passages. And we're going to go over them individually. Now, notice all the way at the bottom, this is Dr. Anthony Mensah, who actually brought all this stuff from Ghana to the United States, the Caribbean, and Europe for those who were taken in the Atlantic slave trade to regain some aspect of their history, their foundations, and their lives. Now, notice that in each of the 7, okay, we need to switch to the next chart.
The first one, 7A. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now, this is your prenatal period. While the individuals in the womb with their past matrix is being one with the Most High God. We are in Y.O.U, the place that Khan called where we go after we die. We are one with the Most High God. The now matrix, the matrix that they're dealing with being in their mother's uterus, is the womb. And the upcoming matrix is the mother. The next one is 0 to 4 years, and that is called infancy.
Imagine that.
Infancy. Okay. This is a passage where your past matrix is the womb, your now matrix is generally your mother, and your future matrix consists of your parents, siblings, elders, and peers, which are referred to as Earth on the chart. This is when superego actually starts to form. You are told how to act, speak, eat, deal with problems, and basically live. That's a very, very, very necessary passage that we all must go through. The next passage is childhood.
Imagine that. Wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful. 4 to 7 years, love the slide. The past matrix is mother, because you're now starting to get away from mother. You're in your past your toddlering. The now matrix is all of those things that we talked about earlier, your siblings, your peers, and everybody else that's an elder or part of your family. That's Earth. And the new matrix is the burgeoning self, the idea of yourself being a being. This is eventually going to be the ego. That is what we think of ourselves. The next passage is pubescence. After childhood comes pubescence, 7 to 11 years. The past matrix is the earth, and the present matrix is self, where the individual is deciding when to lead, when to follow, what is right, correct, and enabling, and what is wrong, incorrect, disabling, and painful, physical or emotional pain. This is the time personality will be created, and processes that enable will be adopted statement of the self. Usually interest in others will rise at this time, and they will generally switch from when you're 7, 8, there'll be the same-sex friends. When you're 10, 11, they will change to opposite-sex friends. Okay. Next is the most important period of time. This is adolescence. Oh my God. 12 to 17 years. Adolescence is usually a turbulent period where the personality further cements itself as attraction for the opposite sex rises. Your past is yourself, while the new you is the other self, other sex. And the future new matrix is family. That's what's in the future of most adolescents. Sometime it hits them dead in the adolescence. We've had too many 16 and 15-year-old mothers. But yeah, it should happen immediately after that. The fifth passage is man/womanhood. It's 18 to 29 years. By now, the individual has made it properly. They generally have employment. They are generally financially solid. They are produced children, and they are employed to produce financial support for themselves and others. Their past matrix is other self, because by now, 18 to 29 years, they will usually be mated. The now matrix is family. This is when families primarily get started, 18 to 29 years. And their new matrix is your spiritual self. Oh my God. Now, I got to give that special mention, since it was recently revealed in studies that Alkebulanese store melanin in the substantia nigra and locus ceruleus. These are Shambudal Sharma has followed. Okay, you go then, Ms. Sharma. Okay, melanin in the substantia nigra and locus ceruleus. These are the brain centers most involved and absorbed with spirituality, alertness, focus, attention, arousal, motor function, and stress response. This is one of the uses of melanin we're going to get into a little bit later. Melanin is the only substance stored and accumulated in your body over time. I did not remember that until I saw this video that I'm going to refer to in just a minute. But melanin is the only product that your body stores. And melanin, neuromelanin, that's melanin in your nerves, in your brain. That's where it is. That's the gray matter in your brain. It primarily is the active molecules that makes your ego function. It is the only substance stored and accumulated over time, so as you age, it accumulates and produces more norepinephrine and other neuroactive molecules, which makes you more spiritual as you age. This blew my mind. As we age, the melanin that our bodies produces increases. It is stored in our brains. And that storage of melanin in your brain causes you to become more spiritual. We're going to get into this a little bit deeper in just a second, as soon as we get through with the sixth passage. The sixth passage is called midlife, and it ranges from 30 to 50 years. Its past is family, as all mechanisms for production and maintenance of family is automatic by now. The now for a midlife individual is marked by comings and goings in life. Comings are new children being born, and goings are friends and associates dying. Friends die, they have children, and they deal with living. For such a life, new is what's next. And that revolves around religion, spirituality, culture, and faith. Hot dog. Mm-hmm. The seventh passage is old age. That's 55 plus. Okay. Whose past is spiritual self, and they have a now of, according to Quad David, unconsciousness, which I personally believe to be lack of conscious understanding of the afterlife. Now, all of these passages and matrices are supposed to educate you and teach you your own understanding. But there are 7 things about myself I knew but did not understand until I watched this video on YouTube by this group called Dark Faith. And it was called The 7 Abilities That Black People Have That No Other Possesses. Now, I don't prefer to use the term black people. I use the term Alkebulanese. But this is Alkebulanese outside of Alkebulan. Alkebulanese outside of Alkebulan are mixed. And we are all mixed race. We all have European genes. We all have Native American genes. Mm-hmm. Most of us have some Asian genes. Mm-hmm. We're just mixed like 70 going north. We're the most mixed. We're the most hybridized things on this planet. Okay, but Alkebulanese outside of Alkebulan have 7 abilities that no others possess. These are encoded by 135 genes in your DNA that are used to code, produce, and support the maintenance and activity of melanin. 135 genes. If you do the numerical addition of 135, it comes out to 9, exactly how it should. This is what God gave us. Number 1, you absorb light with your melanin like no other substance on Earth. The melanin in your skin and brain respond to sound, but hold on. Because the first job of melanin is to take the electromagnetic energy that the sun sends down, including the ultraviolet rays and all of the cancer-causing radiation, and turns it into warmth. It transmits all of that stuff, and there is no substance, natural or man-made, that does that like melanin. But here's the deal that blew my mind. Melanin also responds to sound. Melanin in your skin responds physically. The molecules do that to sound. The human voice and especially, I love this, bass. The bass in gospel, the bass in soul music, the bass in R&B, the bass in hip hop. That's what we listen to because our melanin actually responds to that. That's why you get that when you're listening to music and you're listening to the bass, and that's what you're doing this to. Because the melanin in your skin responds to that bass. This has been scientifically proven, and it's already been personally known and understood for at least the last 150 years. Light plus sound, your melanin turns to warmth. And it is the only substance that accumulates as you age, and it accumulates in, again, substantia nigra and the locus ceruleus.
Number 3 is the one that he's discussing right now.
The increase in neuromelanin as you age causes us, again, to be more spiritual as we age. Number 2, this is the second of the 7 abilities that no others possess.
Apologize.
You survive what destroys any other population. Now, this killed me. Listen to this, y'all. From 1492 to 1600, the indigenous population of North America, and this is the Taino, the Arawak, Aztec, Inca, Maya, Cherokee, Sioux, Navajo, and hundreds of other nations, decreased, I say again, decreased by 90 to 95%. This is from 1492 to 1600. 60 million, that was how Europeans found them here. And in 100 years, they were down to 6 million. Australia. The British arrived in Australia in 1788. The Aborigines there were said to be 1.9 million. But the Aborigines, as soon as the British arrived, decreased down to 90,000. Wow. From 1.9 million to 90,000. This is what happened all over the planet. The same thing happened wherever Europeans arrived and set up, produced procedures and mechanisms that destroyed the native population, period. This happened all over the planet, except right here with our ancestors. Okay, they say during the time of slavery, we had up to 400,000 Africans brought here in the Atlantic slave trade. This is during when slavery was legal. That's 1619 to 1825. We were chattel from that time period. And after 1825, we were doing something very, very close to that, especially after the Civil War. We got to Jim Crow and all of these other things like incarceration and all the other redlining and lack of veterans benefits, everything that pink people could do to put a log on the road of our ancestors' path. Everything they could do, they did, and they did it over and over and over again. But that 400,000 Africans that they started out with increased to 47 million. That's a lie. Guarantee you that's a lie. Pink people are never going to tell us how many of us there are. They're going to lie. They're going to tell us we are less than what we are constantly. If they say it's 47 million of us, you can bet it's about 70 some odd million of us. But the point is made. From 400,000 of us, we are now 16,000% more. 16,000% more. Inca didn't do it. Maya didn't do it. None of the Native American tribes did it. None of the South Asian groups did it. The only group that increased at all was us. And we increased 16,000%. From 400 some odd thousand to millions upon millions upon millions. Now, this doesn't count all the pink people who are actually real high degree hybrids. Book published.
USA.
Yeah, DNA USA is the name of the book. Book published from England. People from England came over here and took DNA from different groups and analyzed them. They found out that every person who thinks they're pink, who was born in the South, actually has Alkebulanese genes. Every one, 100% of everybody who thinks they're pink that was born in the South, in the slave-holding South, actually has Alkebulanese DNA. So that 47 to 70 million is probably closer to 150 to 200 million. Right here in America. We are the majority. We are the majority of the population of this planet. We are the majority of the population of this country. We are the majority population of this reality.
That's sure.
Pink people are the most juvenile humanoids yet. And they act like teenagers. But let's move on. Number one, you absorb light like no other substance and sound. Number two, you survive what destroys any other population. And we got the numbers to back it up. Number three, you create culture that conquers the entire world. Notice, conquers the entire world. After 400 years of suffering and learning, building from 1619 to 2019, that's 400 years, you have created, not added to, not supplemented, but created out of that training ground soul music, gospel music, blues, jazz, tap dancing, southern cooking, R&B, rock, funk, hip hop, spoken word, vogue, call and response preaching. Just taking one of those, hip hop is the #1 music form on the planet, creating a global economic impact of more than $3 trillion annually. Think about that, y'all. We create an economic impact of more than $3 trillion every year. Stuff that we created, stuff that we perform, stuff that we support, and stuff that has little to no pink European additions. Nobody else on the planet, just us. Okay. started by us, for us, and the rest of humanity just joined up. Because right now, you can go to Tokyo, Japan, and there will be young Japanese doing hip hop all up and down the street, rapping. Don't talk about Korea. In Brazil, same. Same in most of South America. All over Alkebulan, from one end to the other. Hip hop is what is. And everybody, all of the young on this planet, are practicing to be us. They do not want to in any way be their parents or replicate what their parents have done. They want to do us. That's number 3. Number 4, you to connect to God/spirit at frequencies nobody else reaches. This is something that I had to think about for a great minute, but they very quickly in the video brought you up to speed, because the frequency they're talking about is not a electrical frequency or a nervous frequency. No, they mean how frequently. How frequently do you pray, seek advice from the ancestors, believe there is a spiritual meaning from life events? Pew Research results, and they did this for about a decade, and they did this about 5 different ways using 5 different types of measuring techniques, and every measurement showed every group of Alkebulanese Americans has the same result. 87% of Alkebulanese Americans say that religion is very important in their lives, measured against 65% of Latino Americans, and only 53% of pink people. I found it somewhat disappointing that in every one of these categories, pink people were just a little bit above half. Okay. 75% of Alkebulanese Americans went to church at least monthly, compared to 51% of the general American population. Again, just a little bit more than half. And 73% of Alkebulanese pray daily, compared to 55% of all Americans. But the same patterns appears across the Alkebulanese diaspora. Alkebulanese Brazilians lead the country in religious devotion. In Jamaica, Trinidad, in the United Kingdom, in France, or wherever the descendants of Alkebulanese enslaved settle, they bring a spiritual intensity that outshines every other demographic group. There is no people, there are no populations on this planet that are more spiritually involved than we are. Period. Okay. Number 5, you turn suffering into power. Now, not endure suffering, not survive suffering, but turn it into something enabling and empowering. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, post-traumatic stress disease, PTSD, you have an opposite to PTSD. It's called PTG. And Alkebulanese Americans do it more than anybody else on the planet. PTG means that when you go through a trauma, a psychological or spiritual trauma, you gain some enabling abilities from that. And we do that more than anybody else on the planet, anybody else that has ever existed. Number 6, you build families from strangers. Atlantic slave trade. Chained up, starved, beat, brutalized, but more than anything else, separate it from your language, your religion, your family, your customs, and your kin. Family torn, taken away, killed, or sold. You combine with non-biologic kin. And we combine with non-biologic, that D on the end, kind. Turns kin and changes it to kind. And you both live kind to each other. I did not realize this until I got overseas. Other cultures don't. When I got to Southeast Asia, I realized that most people over there consider family to be their own group. And anything that's not family is a potential threat. That's what everybody in the Philippines, in Japan, in Korea, in Brazil, that's not Alkebulanese, but they are taught, do not accept strangers. Do not accept anybody who's not family the way that you accept family. I've never been that way, and I've never known anybody like that. I make family wherever I go. And everybody I know does too, but everybody I know is Alkebulanese. And we have had to learn to do that secondary to chattel slavery. When you had to be able to move past blood relationships in order to develop other relationships that would enable and protect you. Wow. Number 7. This is the last one. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. All lead to number 7. Number 7, you carry evidence that no one can deny. Your existence. The existence of Alkebulanese Americans. Alkebulanese who were not born in Alkebulan. That's our proof. And that is the proof of the testimony. And the book called the Holy Bible, Holy Bible, some people pronounce it, has from Genesis to Revelations statements about our being created. Statements about us, not just being us, but being us right here, right now, in this place we call America. Next week I'm going to bring y'all some more of those biblical, but it's from Genesis all the way to Revelations, especially in Deuteronomy. 28 to the 31st chapter. Yeah, it explains most of the Atlantic slave trade. Okay, but we have a song done by Hen from way back when and accompanied by Miles Alexander Keaton Smith, commonly called Humble G the Fiddler, and Mr. O.G. Shyster on a song about belonging, not to a nation or even a family or race, but belonging to yourself, where you actually measure up to you. So we present the other side of freedom.
The light at the end of the tunnel just gets brighter and brighter. 'Cause I'm free. 'Cause I'm free. Free from oppression. Yeah. You may have my body, but you cannot control my soul. 'Cause I'm free. You can't harm me no more. You must let me go. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Now I'm living for a brighter tomorrow. Yeah. I'm finally free. I'm on my feet to do what I want, to be who I please, and that's to be me. And it's why we free. Yeah, it's why we free. Why we free. Why we free. Check. I was rolling down the street and I'm hearing no sirens, no hatred, just peace. 'Cause where I'm from, you see, the police beat on the ones that look like me. And now I'm happy to be finally free from this brutality. Let's put out we. Now we're finally free. Finally. 'Cause I'm free. Free from oppression. Yeah. You may have my body, but you cannot control my soul. 'Cause I'm free. You can't harm me no more. You must let me go. Finally, the day has come. The one I've been waiting for. The one I've been dreaming about. I'm walking through that open door. I'm starting to smell the fresh air. The leaves blowing in the breeze. I wanna go down and kiss the ground and let them see me on my knees. And my body feel kinda heavy and my spirit done left this place, keeping me captive in your prison. You can't take my time and space. Take this journey while I'm with you, and I promise we gon' fly. Take my hand and stay together, 'cause we on the other side. Talking the other side of freedom. Can't you hear me when I soar? Got the wind beneath my wings. Now can't you hear me when I roar? Screaming freedom, 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 freedom. That's right, I'm free.
That's what happens when you finally do understand who, what, where, and when you are. Because with that understanding, why you are is crystal clear. And that is what we have been trying to find out and what we have specifically been blocked from doing by Pink Power.
We want to give a shout out to David.
David,
who is
like,
who is tuned in.
Yes.
Madase, Yadase from both of us. Yeah, from all of us.
All of us. Absolutely. Okay. That's the other side of freedom. Economic exclusion has denied Alkebulanese Americans access to capital, contracts, and markets for centuries. And from that exclusion has come the most innovative entrepreneurial culture in American history. Beauty supply networks, barbershop economics. That building up at the top, left, that's Annie Malone's Poro Beauty College. Now, if you go down that street, down the right side, that's St. Ferdinand. If you go all the way down to the end of the block and cross the street, you'll come to my house, 4351 St. Ferdinand. That's where I lived for most of my youth in St. Louis. It was the largest and tallest, biggest building built by Alkebulanese in America up to that time. And it was used to sell millions of dollars of beauty care products all over the planet. Madam C.J. Walker learned how to make her money there. But the same thing went through barbershops, and lots of different financial assist programs were set up through barbershops. Churches had credit unions that they loaned and gave money. The entire independent music industry, which makes at least, a couple of $1 trillion every year, we created. And a digital content ecosystem that generates billions in annual revenues without any institutional support. Yeah. It used to jack me up one side and down the other. When I am living right down the street from that Poro building, and my mother has taught me anatomy and physiology, nursing, and psychology, and I'm expecting to go to school and be taught how I use those things to conduct my life and accomplish my purpose. I'm expecting them to teach me how to use my spirit. I am part of the Church of the Living God. My grandfather was a bishop at 913 North Garrison for decades before my uncle Leroy took over, and then his son Michael took over. The Church of the Living God operates from the tenet that God is Alkebulanese. Yeshua ben Yosef was Alkebulanese. We are Alkebulanese, and we are the chosen, or the descendants of the chosen of Israel. This started, believe it or not, back in the 1800s by a guy named William Christian. And my grandfather and family picked it up from North Carolina and had to leave North Carolina to move to a town called Kinloch, right outside St. Louis City. I'm expecting to get taught how I function, because that's what my mother started off teaching me when I was born. And that's what I've been trying to go to quote unquote school to get. I went to elementary school. They taught me nothing, never even mentioned what your spirit did. Junior high school, the same. I figured, okay, maybe that's what high school is for. Got to high school, not one mention, except in private conversations between me and my science teacher. That's a whole nother story we don't need to get into. His name is Josiah Cox. But I left this country and found out that they teach what your spirit functions like in Southeast Asia everywhere, all the time. Got back to America, nope, I figured I better go into the professions. Went into nursing, went into college, got undergraduate degrees in biology and psychology, never said a word about how your spirit operates. Went into nursing, no word there. I figured, okay, maybe it's in medicine, that's the highest level. Nope, went to medical school, not one mention except giving your patient who's dying access to his religious tool of choice. Other than that, not a word. So I ended up creating these things for myself. That's why I was nominated for the $10 million X Prize in Innovation. That's why they paid about $7,000 for me and Mick to go to the Incentive to Innovation conference that the United Nations was having at its UN headquarters in New York. That's why I am Marquis Who's Who in America for the year just passed, 2025.
And for their Marquis Millennium Magazine 2026 cover.
Yes, I'll be
Feature.
on the cover. I am the lead guy. But all of these came from me filling in what I kept trying to get at school and trying to get in classes and couldn't get it. It was there and couldn't get it there. So I made a song called Can't Get, all about that travel, that struggle, and those findings. So listen to the Hip Hop Trio plus doing Can't Get. Now,
When you're going through this thing called life, you're going to have a great number of opportunities, and you're going to have some challenges.
Okay. Song got cut off for a second.
When you're going through this thing called life, you're going to have a great number of opportunities, and you're going to have some challenges. In those opportunities and those challenges, you may not be able to get everything that you want, but you should always try to get what you need.
You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Now we're all here for the celebration, trying to find out my own creation, how to learn from my imagination, finding truth, my only liberation. Yeah, 'cause you can't always get what you want. You can't
Always get what you want.
no.
Always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes, you know you just might find you get what you need. So we find ourselves without the spirit, trying with mind and body just to feel it. We train, then work to make our money. Without purpose, we're feeling kind of funny, and not the ha-ha kind. 'Cause you can't always get what you want. You really can't. But if you try sometimes, you know you just might find you get what you need. So finally, I thought I tried this too. Understanding, no, it taught me the way I say no fooling. Now believe what you want, it's your decision. But I know the way without collision. 'Cause you can't always get what you want. No, 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 no. You always get what you want. Sometimes get it that way. You sometimes can't get it another way, but you can. And I try sometimes. Just sometimes get what you need. You get what you need. You get what you need.
All right. Every weapon used against us became a tool in our creating avenues of escape.
Imagine that.
Creating avenues of success. Creating brand new avenues that nobody has ever used
Imagine that.
for purpose. That is who and what we are.
Okay.
And that's what Isaiah said about us. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Absolutely. And that's about it right now, y'all. Any questions from anybody? No?
All righty.
Oh, well then.
Hold on, we checking to see if anybody's calling. No calls yet.
Okay.
It's that time for us.
It is time for us to say peace, which stands for proper education always corrects error. Everything.
Love y'all.
Love you much.
Get out and vote.
Made it to the end of the video. Well, I am tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as Baba Amwa. If you would like more of your own understanding, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And go to the sites that we have listed around us. The Most High is good.
And the ancestors are kind
Thanks
for having us on your minds.
Peace.